my guests Irfan and Sobia Hashmi. Welcome and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Annette. Thanks for inviting.
Thank you.
What was life like, if I can start with you, Irfan, what was life like for you in Pakistan before you left?
Look, I was working as a pharmacist in a pharmaceutical company, and I had some experience over there. And the reason that we moved to Australia, that I want to grow my career, and that was my first initiative. I was working in initial basic management level jobs in my career at the time.
What made you decide to choose Australia?
Yes, that's a good question. I actually came to Australia to do a degree, like a master's degree, to enhance my career, and that was a major reason we moved. I came to Australia on a student visa at that time, along with my family.
Sobia, what was life like for you as a woman in Pakistan?
Well, I've got 2 kids. I had 2 kids then. I've got a daughter now. But at that time, I was quite a busy lady. I was a housewife. I was also a qualified pharmacist, but I wasn't working because both of my kids were really little.
But you were able to work if you'd wanted to?
Oh, yes, definitely. I did work for some time, but then I had to take some time off because my kids were too small to sort of start working. And then I think it was basically the same reason that under the circumstances that are in our country, it's not very easy for the women to work. And
why is that?
It's I think the things are not really accessible. It's just maybe in the culture that the ladies.
There's an expectation that you should stay home with your kids, or?
Well, that's right. There was some responsibilities for the lady for the lady to sort of do the jobs at home and look after the kids. There are ladies who do work and go out and to earn money in our country as well. Like, it's not as if like we are just looking at from the scenario. But I think at that stage it wasn't sort of feasible for me to go out of the house because most of the jobs were in industrial locations and they were quite far, at least an hour's drive from where I was. So I did get offers, but I didn't actually quite get to it because I had really small kids. They're only ages 1 and 2.
What did you know of Australia before you decided to come here? What was your impression or image of the place?
Well, to be honest, we were actually, I should tell the reality here, because we were actually moving to America. But at that time in Australia, there was lots of job opportunities in our field. If we were to look for jobs in our career, there were lots of jobs available for pharmacists, especially in the regions. That time we were not really sure. We were actually quite didn't know exactly how it was going to like. But when I started working here in Australia, we went to Darwin for a year for my training. And after I finished that, we realized that even the smaller cities in Australia, they've got so much potential and to learn, and there's so much opportunity that's there for professionals like us. It's not like everyone's got to live in the cities. Like you've got all the basic needs, what you need. And we had my kids were really young at that time, so it was no rushing back to the uni or for the school as well. So, and my kids got really good care. I'm really lucky.
Irfan, were your qualifications as a pharmacist fully recognised when you came to Australia?
No, when we came, we have to go through a procedure called EPIC Stage 1 and a Stage 2 procedure. That is like two exams and on Stage 1, and then you have to go under traineeship for 12 months with the registered pharmacist on a side, and then you have to qualify as a pharmacist. So that's a long procedure. Like, it takes nearly more than a year or 1.5 year time, and you have to complete your exams in time. So that's the one that we both have done, and so we qualified as a pharmacist in 2005, and I qualified as a registered pharmacist in 2006.
When you reflect on those first weeks that you arrived in Australia, what was it like?
Was a cultural shock.
In what way?
In a way that, first of all, we were coming from Karachi. Karachi is a cosmopolitan, huge populated city, and we were used to that sort of influx of people going out every day and in the evening. When I came to Adelaide on the first day, at 5 o'clock or 5:30, I think the whole town was like everyone go home after the work, and it looks like, what happened? Is everything going all right in this town?
Did you wonder where all the people were?
All the people went, and that was the big surprising thing for me. And when I went just to go to a Coles, I suppose I was staying in a place called Gilly Street in for a week. That's the accommodation that I pre-booked when I came here, and that was the impression that. Very less people. That's my first impression. But I like that. That was one sort of shock, but I took it as a positive. Oh, that's a good opportunity. Maybe we can go out with the kids and go into the park, or that is not really common in Karachi, in busy life like over there.
What did you think then when you started to come out into the country towns? I know you now have businesses established at Orroroo, Goobapidi. When you first went out into those areas, what did you think?
We just loved it. To be honest, me and Irfan, we just love the country. It's the life is serene. There's not much hassle. People are so nice. Amazing. I think this is the biggest attraction, that the people in Port Pirie, Flinders, Corn, Orroroo, they actually supported us a lot, especially Goobapidi. Had a pharmacy, but it wasn't sort of a full-time established business like ours. To be honest, I think it's the community that supported us. If there was no community support, it wasn't possible.
So you felt welcomed? You haven't had incidences where you felt you've been discriminated against?
I would say that I know that when we go in a new place, it's like a change. It's change for me, for the person who's going there, and a change for the person who's receiving that new person in that workplace or wherever customer. So change is not an easy acceptable thing. So I was prepared for that. So I know that I have to perform very well. I have to impress a lot of people. I have to impress my work abilities. So I know that, and I was trying that. And initially there were some hiccup, but I'm pretty sure that we came along with very nicely, and it was a good response by the community as well, because they value health professionals here, I suppose. And when I came to my first job in Port Pirie, and when I went to Orroroo, I was frame of mind, maybe it's not a good idea, but it turned into a good venture.
Do you get homesick? Sobia, if I can ask you, do you get homesick for Pakistan?
I do, actually. The first time we went back to Pakistan was in 4 years. We couldn't sort of go back to see our parents. That was one of the difficult times in life. My parents did come to see us. That was a big support, to be honest, when I was writing my exams, because I had little kids, and she came over and stayed with us. That was one of the things that my parents were sort of able to travel, and they're sort of not very conservative in that sense. Also, now that I've lived in Australia for 10 years, to be honest, when I go back, I just feel homesick. So
homesick for Australia.
That's
now.
right. Yeah,
what did your parents think of Australia? Was that the first time they'd been here when they visited you?
My mum came in Darwin when I was writing my exam and Irfan was writing his. She just liked it a lot. At that time, we were not able to go out as much because we were both studying like anything. But when she came around, when my daughter was born, both of my parents were here for about 3 months, and they just enjoyed Port Pirie so much. They just loved it. They said that it's a very good opportunity, and we both are really lucky to be living in such a town, in such a region where it's the life is so easy and everything is accessible. And I think especially Port Pirie, there's so much here. Like, a lot of people think that it's not because it's not in the city, it's missing out on anything. But believe me, I don't think there's anything to miss here.
What about when Pakistan is in the news, and sometimes it's in the news here in big ways? The tragic flood devastated the country, left many, many people homeless, their crops destroyed. When we hear stories of extremists behaving so violently in Pakistan, how do you feel about that now you're so far away?
I feel sad. First of all, I feel very sad that maybe someone can take some steps that they can avoid those things which are happening. Obviously, that flood thing is a natural disaster. We can't say anything. We can plan for those disasters, maybe minimize any harmful effect in future. But for the other question that you asked, hopefully, if someone take a bold step, or maybe a revolution or anything like that, that can resolve that, because I would say the people sitting or controlling the country, they may be not really looking their jobs properly, I would say. And if they are keen or sincere with the country, it's like a small house. If we treat our house nicely, it will have a better prospect.
So you're saying they don't have the right motivation?
Yes, I would say.
Or the right values for looking after the country and the people.
Yes.
And Sobia, you agree with that?
Yes, I do. And yeah, it's not very nice to hear all those stories. From this point of view, in the media, there's so much going on, that there's so much happening in Pakistan. But I know a lot of people, and myself, I'm from Pakistan, and I know that there's a lot of people who do think that people from the country are. I know they're doing bad things, but then there are good people as well who are working hard to.
We often don't hear those stories,
yeah,
do we? Often
that's
hear
right.
the bad stories. Well, look, thank you both for coming into the studio and sharing part of the story of your journey to the Mid-North. We wish you well in the future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. You have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
My guests have been Irfan and Sobia Hashmi, who have journeyed from Pakistan and made Port Pirie their